You are listening to the Overcome Pornography for Good podcast, How to Guarantee Success, Part 5. Welcome to the Overcome Pornography for Good podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Brewer. Hey everyone, welcome to today's podcast episode. Today I want to talk about how to guarantee success, which sounds a little bit like, how can you guarantee success? I promise today we're going to have so many amazing tips and tricks and really just mindset stuff. We're really just talking about mindset stuff here that is going to be vital for you if you're someone who is wanting to overcome pornography or find freedom from pornography. The reason I wanted to do an episode on this is we have our 12-week cohort starting next week that I'm just thrilled and pumped about. It's going to be so fun. And I've been reading through everyone's surveys. So I sent out surveys to anyone who joined, and you're giving me information about who you are, what you're most excited about learning, what your goals are, and then any worries you have or hesitations you have. I really want to make sure that this 12-week cohort is personalized as much as possible. And I just, like I said, this is more of an intimate group that I'm doing that I haven't done in years and years and years. I haven't done an intimate 12-week cohort like this before. And so I had everyone fill out surveys. I looked through the surveys, and one thing that came up when people were, one of the questions was like, what are you nervous about? Or what are some of your hesitations? And a lot of the answers were, well, what if this doesn't work? Or this sounds super great in theory, but I'm not sure how this is going to work in my life. And so I want to take a minute and address that here. And I'm going to start by explaining the concept of living person versus dead person goals. There's living person goals and dead people goals. So I think this is an ACT concept, an acceptance and commitment therapy concept that you'll hear in therapeutic spaces. But it's so when I started teaching this and started hearing it taught this way, it just, it was huge for people who want to overcome pornography. So a living person goal is a goal that a living person can do better than a dead person. A dead person goal is a goal that you can have that a dead person will always be able to do better than you. Examples of a dead person goal would be I will never yell again. I will never view porn again. I will never ever view porn again. Another one would be, I don't want to feel anxious anymore. They're goals, again, that a dead person could do better than a living person. These dead people goals are the reason for so much anxiety that we have around, will this work or not? Will this work or not? Because the reality is, for so many of you, you've tried for years and years and years, or you've told yourself this will be the last time over and over and over and over again, and that hasn't been the case. Now, what I teach, and I beg you to understand, especially in my master classes, and which, by the way, if you haven't listened to that yet, we have a replay that I'd love to invite you to listen to. I have a class called Everything That You Were Taught About Quitting Porn Has Kept You Trapped. Here's why, here's what to do instead. But I really try to convince you in that hour-long class that it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you haven't been able to quit. It's everything that you've been taught around this has unintentionally made this worse and made this harder. And so it makes sense that you have a lack of self-trust here because you haven't accomplished what you told yourself you would. But, and again, that's why maybe I'm pointing you towards the masterclass. Maybe that's not 100% your fault. That doesn't mean it's not your responsibility to heal. And it doesn't mean it's not your responsibility to make amends if there's been harm done. But if you've promised yourself you won't view again, and then you do, you're not alone. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. It doesn't mean that it's not possible. It's truly that you need a new way how to do this. And so one of the key things we want to do, one of the key mindset things here is we have to shift out of dead person goals into living person goals. So a living person goal would look like something that a living person can do better than a dead person. So instead of, I'm never going to argue with my spouse again, the living person goal can be, I'll plan date nights with my spouse and I want to create this beautiful, thriving relationship. Instead of, I'm never going to eat junk food again, the living person goal can be I want to be healthy and I want to have a healthy body and I want to feel really good in my body and I want to be strong and I want to have muscles, right? You see, those are things that a living person can do better than a dead person. And so with pornography, it's the same thing. Instead of, I don't want to ever view porn again, which a dead person can always do better than a living person, We can shift it to something like, and this is the work that we're going to do in our first class together next week, but what is your specific living person goal? But it's something like, I want to use my sexuality for good, have a beautiful relationship with it, be fully alive without shame and without fear. Shifting to, I am a human with a sexuality. I am a human with sexual urges and sexual feelings. It just exists. And so what do I want this to look like? What do I want my life to look like with this in a beautiful, more fulfilling way than a dead person could ever do? So the anxiety around will this be successful or not is often rooted in some sort of dead person goal, which sets you up for failure over and over and over again. And it puts tons of pressure on, right? So another reason people are nervous about coming and doing this work is it's like all this pressure because this one has to work. This time it has to work. Oh, and there's still so much to say about this. So let me go off on my rant about this. We have to change our goal. We have to change our goal out of, I will never view porn again. Like we've talked about in this whole series, right? Which is, I'm going to squash this sexuality part. I'm going to silence this part of me. Everything that has taught you about quitting porn up until now has taught you to work against your sexuality instead of working with it. We have to change the goal to now I'm building a relationship with this part of me. And I hope you understand. And again, if maybe this is like the first episode you're listening to, if you haven't, go and listen to the series, because by now you should understand that the only way to overcome pornography is to learn to work with your sexuality instead of against it, because this is a biological urge. We can't treat this like quitting smoking or quitting drinking, where the longer I go without it, the less I want it. It will never work that way because sex is a biological urge. It's here to stay. It's always going to be here. Our only choice is to learn how to work with it, to learn how to be in relationship with it. And when we do that, porn loses its grip. When we do that, the problematic behaviors around sexuality and around pornography, they go away. Because, right, a sexuality, this is kind of basic parts work as well. And I explained this in depth in the first episode. But when we cage, shame, push away, ignore our sexuality, that's when the problematic behavior happens. And so if you want to find freedom from porn, you have to learn to work with it instead of against it. And that doesn't mean that you need porn. That doesn't mean that you're just doing everything that your sexuality tells you to do, especially right now when the relationship with it isn't great. But that's the main key thing here in this episode, how to guarantee success, is it will be successful because now you're building a relationship with this piece of you. And it's so much easier to build a healthy, beautiful relationship, and it will happen. Like, it's just a matter of time. When you're in a relationship with someone and you're both committed to fixing and solving and working through things, you can heal and have a great relationship. And the great thing about you and your sexuality is your sexuality isn't another person. It's just a different part of you. So really, the question is like, do I want to do the work to build this relationship with this piece of me? And if the answer is yes, then of course you'll be able to. That doesn't mean it won't take a little bit of time. That doesn't mean you won't have to commit and you won't have to do some of the inner work around it. But healing your relationship with your sexuality, healing a relationship with this piece of you is absolutely doable. And it's just a matter of time. We're also approaching this like it will happen no matter what, as long as we just keep working towards it. This is not the same thing as that dead person goal, which is I'm committing now that I'll never ever view pornography again. That's setting yourself up for failure. If the goal, though, is to heal your relationship with your sexuality so that porn loses its grip, that's absolutely doable as long as we do the work around it. And just, like any relationship, the relationship, it has ups and downs, especially at the beginning, especially when you're doing the initial work around it, but it just gets better and better and better as time goes on. Some of you might be pretty afraid of your sexuality and you don't totally trust that befriending it will lead you to an outcome of a porn-free life, or lead you to the outcome of a life where you're living within your sexual values. And I want to speak to that for a moment, because if there's one thing that all of my clients have in common, it's that your deepest desire is to be worthy. It's to be enough. It's to be worthy of the life that you want to live. It's to be worthy, maybe in your religion's eyes, it's to be worthy of the partner that you want to have. It's just to feel like a good person and to be all of the things that you know, like you have these deep desires to be good and to have values and to do good in the world and to be worthy. And that part, that goodness, that's the loudest, biggest, most true part of you. The part that is love, the part that is good, the part that wants all of the goodness. And so, how I kind of view it, it's almost like all these other parts of us are little extensions of this goodness, of this love, of this light that just exists, that is just your core base, just your core-ness, your core self is good, is love. And so everything that also exists in you is just a break off of that, including your sexuality. And again, when it becomes problematic, or when the behavior becomes problematic, or when you're acting outside of your value system, it's because there's been some sort of separation from that goodness inside of you. It's like we were taught, or the things outside of us, we've severed from these parts that are inherently good. So there's a little bit of a level of trust here in that goodness that just exists inside of you. You can commit to yourself and you can know that as you're healing this relationship with this sexuality, that it will only increase the good that you're putting out into the world. I'll also remind you that you only have two options with your sexuality. It exists inside of you. You have two options. You can either push it away and have a bad relationship with it, or you can work on your relationship and have a good relationship with it. It's not going anywhere. And the reason that you've continued to struggle with pornography is because everything has taught you to fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. When we fight something, it fights back. When we suppress something, it pops up. It's like a beach ball. Remember the beach ball example we talk about often? When you hold a beach ball underwater, what does it want to do? It just pops back up. We only have two options. It's to try to push it away or to be in relationship with it. And again, being in relationship with it doesn't mean that you do everything that it tells you to do. It just means now you're curious and you're learning from it. So it's like if we go back to our binge eating. Sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a rant, but I'm going to come back to a couple mindset things here in a minute. But it's like binge eating. So if we're struggling with binge eating, we don't tell ourselves to not be hungry or we need to overcome our hunger urges. We have to learn from it and heal our relationship with it. And then the binge eating goes away and our life is much more beautiful, much more fuller when we do that. It's the same thing with pornography. So now so much of the work in the program is going to be learning what are the urges telling us? Not let's feel the urge and then let's do everything it's saying to do, but what is it telling us? Is it telling us what are we moving away from? Is there some buffering that's going on, or what are we moving towards? What is this doing for us that we're not getting in our real life? And it's not just about sex. It's not just about sex. There's so much more underneath it. For example, maybe there's like power dynamics in the type of pornography that you feel drawn towards. And so what is that experience like seeking out and finding porn that, let's say, maybe is a little more violent? Maybe what we find is inside there's a lack of power. You feel a lack of power in your day-to-day life. And so pornography becomes that internal way that we seek this feeling of power. And so befriending our sexuality looks like, what are you telling me that as I learn this, maybe what I need and maybe what helps me the most in overcoming pornography is, if this is my specific dynamic, is where do I need more power in my day-to-day life? Where do I need to find more power in ways that are healthy for me? And that's one example of how this works. Let's go back to my guarantee success mindset. I got off track a little bit. So we need to change out of dead person goals to living person goals. Main key thing here is if our goal is to heal our relationship with this piece of us, man, that's easy. That's doable. Maybe not easy, but there's a path for that. And it's like, we're changing it now too. It's not so all or nothing, because as long as we keep working towards this, it will work. So I love it when I can create a goal for myself, and we're going to work on this together in our class next week when we do our first class together. But when we can create a goal where we truly believe, as long as I never give up, I can accomplish this. And so when we have a goal like that, we can drop the timelines around it. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't happen in the exact way that you think it's going to happen, because you know it's going to happen. So for example, let's say my goal is that I want to be healthy and feel good in my body. I know as long as I never give up, I can accomplish that. And so I might start off by lifting weights, and then I might find out that lifting weights isn't really the best thing, and I want to do more HIIT exercises. And then maybe I find out that the best way for me to be healthy long-term is to, engage in more hobbies that are pushing my body in less rigid structures. It just depends on where you're at in your life and, but we're open to trying all these things and we're not stressed if it doesn't happen in the first month because we know as long as we never give up, it'll happen. Maybe your goal is to find a life partner. And so the thought there too, as long as I never give up, this is bound to happen. And so another key thing here, another key mindset is to take massive action. Take massive action towards your goal. Let it be a living person goal and you'll see amazing success. And so the massive action for, let's say you want to find a life partner, massive action maybe is I'm going to go on 100 first dates. So you have the mindset, you're like, this is a living person goal that a living person can do better than a dead person. I've built it in a way that I feel in my bones, as long as I never give up, I'll accomplish it. And I don't have to feel a lot of pressure around it. I don't have to feel like I have to do it all at once. It feels like I can just take small actions every day towards it. And then I'm going to take massive action towards it. So I have a goal to go on 100 first dates. And within 100 first dates, man, like something good is bound to happen. And, whether or not it's one of those people in those 100 first dates, it, very likely could be. Maybe it's you meet someone through those people that you went on 100 first dates with. See, but the idea is the more massive action you take, the quicker it is that you'll reach your goal. And even better than massive action is going to be massive aligned action. So maybe instead of I'm going to go on 100 first dates, I'm going to go on 100 first dates with people that I feel really good about in my body. That massive aligned action is going to help you even more. Instead of I'm going to get healthy, instead of the goal only being I'm going to do 100 push-ups a day, right? That's massive action. It's going to be massive aligned action. So I'm going to hire a fitness coach who's going to help me with my mindset and my eating, and I'm going to do the things that are really aligned with my body and how it works. So those are some of the key things for how to guarantee success. Mindset here is so, so, so important. We will be doing our whole first class next week in our 12-week cohort all around mindset. I have some other things to share with you around how to guarantee success, some other key mindsets there that we'll be talking about in depth. The massive action piece, if you want to overcome pornography, a great way to take massive action is to come and to commit to working with me in this cohort for 12 weeks. I would love to have you. It's going to be phenomenal. If you aren't sure and you want to come to the very first call, we can register you for the first call. You can make sure that it's a good fit. You can make sure that you like it, and then you can pay afterwards. Tuesday, July 14th. So the Monday that this podcast is released, we're starting that week. And so that free call is that week. If you miss it by chance, if you listen to the podcast a little bit late, let us know. I'm sure we can send you the replay and you can check out the replay, or you can just jump in and join us and be ready to go for the next call following the next week. If you're listening to this replay and it has been after the 12-week cohort, we're still going to be having this program running. I'm not sure if it will be live with me like it is this time. Likely not. I'm planning on this being the one time I'm doing it live, but we'll still have incredible options for you. You'll just have to see what you have available at the time of you listening to this. We'll still be accepting people to come in and join us within the first couple of weeks of us starting. You'll just have to catch up on the first calls, which won't be a problem at all. The link to register for that first call, we're putting in the show notes. It's a Zoom link, so I would read it to you, but it's just a bunch of letters and numbers. It's in the show notes, or if you have any problem finding it, just email us, support@sarahbrewer.com. I was talking to my team this morning where we've had the onboarding call. We've been working with our clients. I'm like, I cannot believe how much value there is in this program for the price. We have all of the calls with me. You have the call with Hunter, the one-on-one with Hunter. You have your 6 one-on-one calls with your own individual coach. You have weekly office hours, which are separate from the calls with me. You have 3 calls with Dr. Kirsty Spute. Again, the key thing here is that we're implementing, not just getting information. You don't just need more information. You need to know, why am I not implementing this, or where am I getting stuck in implementing this? And so that's what the goal here for the program is. And I really pride myself on offering an extremely high level of support in any of my programs, because I know that coaching is the thing that will actually move the needle forward for you. The link to join is centerforovercoming.com/work with me. Y'all, let's change our goal from dead person goals to living person goals. To I'm building a beautiful relationship with my sexuality where I work with it, not against it. Where I feel fully alive and free inside. Where I'm not worried about slipping up because I know that I'm living in my value system. I know that my happiness doesn't come from being perfect, but it comes from truly living with love for myself and other people. And that even if I make mistakes, it doesn't have to mean that I'm not worthy or that it's the end of the world. This is about so much more than quitting porn. And my clients say this to me all the time. They're like, I can't believe the progress I've made. I'm in so much more control now. Porn isn't a struggle for me anymore. I feel so aligned, but this is about so much more than porn. I used to think the goal was just to not look at it. Now I know the goal and the tools that I have is to be so free, so alive, and to be a real force for good, to feel so worthy in my body. That's what I want for all of you. That's why I'm so passionate about teaching it this way, because it's really doing you a disservice if all we're doing is focused on how can you not look at pornography. Yeah, I mean, we're going to do the work around that, and it's important. And I don't want to totally devalue that because that's really good work to do as well, but it's incomplete. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Overcome Pornography for Good podcast. If you're ready to take your next steps, visit centerforovercoming.com. We'll talk to you next week.